Let's kick things off by diving into that intense exchange where Tucker Carlson really put Ted Cruz on the spot over issues like IPAC and
Yeah,
Iran. It was a charged moment in political talk.
right? And you can feel the tension even from the title. It calls out that Tucker embarrasses Ted Cruz, which sets a pretty dramatic tone.
Exactly. Tucker really pressed Cruz, especially on IPAC's influence and the whole Iran angle. It's not every day you see a conversation with that level of intensity.
Mm-hmm. And those segments, like when Cruz says the quiet part out loud, really made you sit up and take notice, didn't they?
Oh, totally. When Tucker starts pushing, it almost feels like he's forcing the discussion into uncharted territory, making Cruz almost like expose his true thoughts on these controversial issues.
Right? And that tactic definitely riles up a lot of viewers. It makes you wonder if it's all about score settling or genuinely digging into policy matters.
Yeah, it's like he intentionally dims down the usual political niceties, throwing out labels that have huge weight, like calling him an anti-Semite at one point. That was a striking moment.
I get that. But don't you think such language might skirt the line between a hard hitting critique and a oversimplification of complex ideological stances?
I do see that point. I mean, it's like you've got these two major figures in a clash of words, and while Tucker's approach is designed to spotlight contradictions, it might also, simplify a mountainous debate into sound bites.
Right, it's like reducing a deep political conversation into a series of punchlines. But sometimes that's what grabs people's attention.
Indeed, the headline itself is engineered to stir reactions. Embarrasses is such a bold term. It suggests that Tucker had all the right cards to expose or at least challenge Cruz's positions.
Absolutely, and that's where the interplay of media strategy and political commentary really shines. It's as if the interview becomes a sort of political spectacle.
Exactly. And looking at the broader narrative, it's not just about that one moment. It hints at deeper fissures within the political class, party lines, foreign policy debates, and even the media's role in framing everything.
For sure. It's interesting how Tucker Carlson, known for his hard hitting style, leverages these exchanges to appeal to an audience hungry for clear confrontations, even if it sometimes comes at the expense of nuance.
Right, it's almost like a well staged boxing match where every jab and counter is meant to elicit a reaction. And there's that risk of falling into sensationalism, yet it also exposes how the political elite might avoid real accountability.
Yeah, but here's a thought. While the spectacle is engaging, aren't we sometimes missing a deeper discussion on policy because the focus is so heavily on the theatrics?
I get that concern. It's like, well, while the theatrical nature draws in the viewers, it can sidestep the nuanced debates that really matter. Like, how exactly does APAC influence policy versus just being a talking point?
Exactly. And with Iran thrown into the mix, it becomes a sort of double edged conversation. One part sensational showdown, and one part significant foreign policy dispute.
Totally. And this whole segment really mirrors our modern media landscape. High view counts, online clips hitting hundreds of thousands of views, 628K in this case, sort of prove that these confrontations resonate with people, even if they simplify the bigger picture.
Yeah, and it also highlights how these moments are repackaged and recirculated, sometimes with merchandise and political branding, almost like a full on media ecosystem around a single interview.
Right, and that ecosystem is fascinating. You've got the interview itself, then the headline driven discussion, followed by all the merch, the Dragon Squad tie, Bernie So Punk posters, and the like, all of which tie back into branding the entire political narrative.
It's like every heated moment gets monetized and turned into a symbol. But does that sometimes detract from the actual political substance?
That's a fair point. These symbols can sometimes overshadow the detailed policy debates, but on the flip side, they also keep the conversation going among people who might otherwise not engage with political content at such a deep level.
Absolutely. And speaking of symbols, the confrontation also brought up more than just policy. It exposed personal dynamics within the political arena. For instance, Cruz having to defend not just his policy positions, but also his integrity.
Yeah, it's like A high wire act where each word is scrutinized from multiple angles.
Right.
And that moment when Cruz calls Tucker an anti Semite, it kind of flipped the script on accountability, didn't it?
It sure did. That remark not only escalated the tension, but also forced viewers to confront the heavier issues of race, ideology, and political branding.
Exactly. And that's where the heart of the debate lies. These heated confrontations force a peek behind the curtain of political rhetoric, showing us how language is wielded as both a weapon and a shield.
Absolutely. It's a double edged sword. On one hand, it sharpens political debate. On the other, it risks reducing complex situations into simplistic sound bites.
Yeah, it's like a balancing act between provoking thought and, well, just provoking for the sake of provocation.
Right. And while that can truly engage a broad audience, it can also polarize opinions even further, creating an us versus them mentality.
True, and that leads us to a broader reflection on the state of political discourse today. The intense focus on personalities rather than the policies themselves often leaves many of us with more questions than answers.
Yeah, it feels like each confrontation is a microcosm of the bigger divide we're witnessing, where sound bites overshadow comprehensive debates.
Absolutely. And, while Tucker's approach here might seem like it's all about showmanship, it does serve to force political figures like Cruz to, well, directly address contentious issues.
I agree, though I must respectfully challenge that point a bit. While it's true the confrontation forces responses, doesn't it also risk framing the discussion in a way that favors entertainment over substance?
That's a valid critique. It's like you're saying that in the rush to be engaging, the essence of policy details might get lost in the theatrics. And I absolutely get
Yeah,
that.
exactly. And it's essential to balance that. Public debate should inform as much as it entertains, right?
Right. And even though this interview chops up complex issues into bite sized explosive segments, it still provides a window into the underlying ideologies that drive these political battles.
True. And while some may find it reductive, it does amplify issues that many people are already passionate about, even if it means sacrificing some depth in the process.
Yes, and it's like peeling an onion. Each layer reveals more about the intricate relationship between media sensationalism and political messaging. Yet, we must always ask, at what point does entertainment start distorting the truth?
Well put. The conversation, as heated as it may be, reminds us that in today's media landscape, every exchange is loaded with implications for political trust and accountability.
For sure. It's a striking example of how media narratives, branding, and raw political confrontation all collide to shape public perception.
And it begs the question, do these spectacles drive meaningful engagement or just deepen divisions among us?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? While it energizes viewers and sparks discussion, the challenge is ensuring that it doesn't oversimplify the real issues at stake.
Right, because at the end of the day, critical analysis should go hand in hand with the excitement these political showdowns bring.
Exactly. And even if the format is high on drama, these interviews push us to reconsider how we process political debates in an era dominated by digital media and rapid-fire commentary.
Yeah, it's a fascinating, if sometimes troubling, reflection of modern political discourse. The blend of spectacle and substance is tough to navigate.
Totally. And as observers, we need to be mindful of both the insights and the pitfalls. It's like every heated interview leaves us with a layered understanding that goes beyond simple catchphrases.
Absolutely. It challenges us to think critically while also acknowledging the powerful role of media strategy in shaping our political landscape.
Indeed. While these confrontations might feel like a showdown, they're also a call for more meaningful conversations, ones where, despite the flashiness, we dig into the policy details and the human stories behind the headlines.
Well said. It's a conversation that'll continue evolving as long as media and politics are intertwined. Thanks for this engaging discussion. It's been eye-opening.
Absolutely. Thanks for diving into it with me. Let's keep watching how these moments shape the narrative, and until next time, stay curious.